Hey, welcome back to another one of my tutorials. It's Paul Tobey here. Today we're going to take a look at how to play songs from the real book. And I got this idea from Martin Waugh, who said on one of my videos, he made a comment that the next one, of course, has to be Detour Ahead, or the next tutorial that I make. Now, the reason why I thought of this is because I don't actually know the song Detour Ahead. So this is how I would approach learning a new song using the real book, because of course, that's the first place that you would go to look for a song that you don't actually know. So thanks, Martin, because it is a great tutorial to start thinking about, okay, how do I leverage the information that the real book gives me? And of course, it doesn't give you everything. It essentially gives you melody and rhythm and some chord symbols, and it's up to you to interpret those. So this is how I would learn a song from the real book that I don't know and interpret that song. So let's dive in right away and get started. Now, when I look at a new tune from the real book, and I've basically transcribed it into this sheet music, it has two staffs, treble clef and bass clef. That's because I'm going to write on it and make some suggestions as to how to interpret chords and melody and make some notation. So that's why I've done this. So it's not actually the real book, but these are the exact changes from, I think, Real Book 2. And of course, this is one of those tunes that is played by Bill Evans. Now, the first thing you might want to do is just go check out, say, Bill Evans playing Detour Ahead. The problem with that is that he's so far away from what the information in the real book gives. He's into reharmonization, he's taking a lot of liberties with improvisation, and so it's not necessarily the best guide, but at least you can listen to somebody else play the tune. The first thing I would do, even if I didn't listen to Bill Evans play, would be to play the tune through once and get a general sense of the melody and how the chords flow. So let's go and do that now. It's going to be fairly simple as I read through this, and then we'll come back and we'll start to make some notation on how to make the most out of this real book melody and chord symbols. All right, let's play it through once. And of course, it repeats back to the A section and then it has this different ending. So let's just play those last two bars. Okay, as you can see, as I played through the song, it wasn't that interesting, but what I was really trying to do was just capture the nature of the chords that are given at the time that they're given. So what we're going to do now is go back and try to make a little bit more out of it, and maybe write in some notation and some ideas that you can think about the next time you're reading through a tune in the real book. So the first chord is a C major 7. And one of the things you'll notice is that you've got an E natural and a G. Both of those are directly from the C major 7th chord, the E being the 3rd and leading tone, and the 5th being obviously the 5th of the chord. So what I would do in that case is I need to cover the major 7th, so let's write that here in the left hand, and perhaps the root. So that's the first thing I would do, is just kind of cover off that C major chord. It's really nice by itself. The next thing I might do is maybe start throwing in perhaps some clusters, because we're fairly low in terms of where the melody is. Now, we're getting very close to obviously middle C, so that's pretty low in range. So what you might want to do is think about maybe playing the C natural and the B natural in the right hand, and then in the left hand, instead of playing the B natural with the left hand, play the 5th instead, and that kind of fills out the chord a bit, like this. So here's the first one. Here's the second one. Then the other thing you might do at some point is you might want to take the melody and maybe play it up an octave. So then that would give us some liberties with the left hand to play kind of rootless voicings like this. Kind of a nice sound. So instead of it's. Now, one more idea that you might want to do at this point is to kind of play a full 10th in the left hand, which would be C and E. Really gives it a nice big start. Okay, and then we run into the F sharp 13. Now, why is this here? And the answer is it's because it's 5 of 5. So think of the B7 like a 5 of E natural, right? So this is like 5 to 1 of E major, even though we're going to F major, but it just makes a nice chord progression. So this is the F sharp going to B7. So as soon as you see 13 in there, you start to think about the 9th and the 13th together, which would be G sharp and D sharp. And then you also might want to throw in the sharp 11, which is the C natural. And now we've got a really nice chord. So from here, so think of it like maybe A flat major over F sharp. And then it gets to the B7, sharp 5, sharp 9. Now the reason why it's sharp 5 is because you've got a G natural here. So the natural 5 would be F sharp, the sharp 5 would be G. So that's already stated in the melody, and now all we need to do is cover off the sharp 9, which is a D natural, like that. And then you've now covered the sharp 5 and sharp 9. And that's the great thing about the real book, is that a lot of these chords that they write with the extensions in the chord, it's a good idea to catch those, because that means that somebody's interpretation of it was a really good sort of jazz thought and interpretation. So all I'm doing in the left hand is B natural, D sharp, and A, which is the chord itself. So D natural being the 3rd and the 7th being the A, both leading tones. So like this. So from the beginning. Really nice. And what you might want to think about there is you've got this whole bar going on, so you might want to put in some other voicings. See how I did that? I just kind of moved up an inversion of B7. Okay, thinking about diminished scales. So B7, flat 9, sharp 9, whatever, is like a C diminished chord over B. And that's how my brain functions. So there is a perfect example of stretching out your left hand to catch those really simple chords. So this is 4, we're of course in the key of C. This is 4 major 7, 3 minor 7, and 6 minor 7. So really standard chords for the key of C. So what I did was tense in the left hand. So you've got F and A, and then going descending down to the E and the G. And of course, these are just root and third, and then back up to A. Let's make it a half note, A and C here. And there's a lot going on in the melody there, so you don't need a lot of extra notes. What you might want to do is this. A little grace note heading into the B natural here. Just put a little grace note in there. Now, try to remember that as I'm doing this, this is the first time through this tune and starting to think about, okay, how do I interpret the real book basic chords and melody that it's giving me? And that's really what I'm doing here. I'm starting to think about how to fill out the tune a little bit, make it a little bit more my own. Okay, one more time through the first line. And then of course you might want to start some interplay with the hands as soon as you've got the chords down. See that leading tone? Really, it's just a passing note. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. In the next video, we're going to continue right here where we left off, and we're going to finish this whole tune in maybe 2 or 3 videos. I think it's important to take our time when we're learning a new song, especially from the real book, because there is a lot of ways to interpret what is given to us. And of course, it's really what's not there that is important to know as a jazz pianist. And that's why I'm trying to take you through my thought process. Okay, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. That would be really appreciated. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. I'd appreciate that. And also go check out jazzmentl.com. In fact, let me put a link to this sheet music up here in the corner. It's just going to be the lead sheet so that you can use what we've talked about in this tutorial and interpret it in your own special way. That's really the whole point of a lead sheet. So let me put that link up in the corner and you can go and download that. It's absolutely free to do so. Thanks so much for your time. I will see you in the next Detour Ahead.